I endured years of disrespect from my stepdaughter, and my wife permitted it, even warning me of divorce if I protested. So I stayed quiet and eventually walked away. Now they're asking me to rethink my decision, but my answer remains no. You know, people often say marriage requires compromise, but I don't believe that means erasing yourself entirely just to maintain harmony. I wed my wife Sarah when I was 38. She had a daughter from a previous marriage, Lily, who was 14, grumpy, quick-witted, and set on despising me from the outset. I thought it was typical teenage behavior. Her father was barely involved, so I assumed I needed to gain her trust. Kids act out when they feel neglected, don't they? So I made an effort. I drove her to school when Sarah had early work hours. I struggled through her algebra homework, even when it baffled me. I sat through hours of dance rehearsals in the drizzle, parked in my car. Yet Lily treated me like I was dirt under her feet. She hurled insults when Sarah wasn't nearby, calling me things like fake dad or nobody. She ridiculed my job. I own a small gardening business. She mocked my wardrobe and once sneered, "You're just a temporary guest until Mom boots you out too." I raised the issue with Sarah, cautiously at first. She dismissed it. "She's just a teen. You're the grown-up. Don't let it get to you." Months later, after Lily posted on her secret Instagram that she wished I'd get crushed by a tractor, I tried again. Sarah just exhaled and said, "You can be a bit tough on her. Maybe give her some room." I began to see a pattern. Whenever I brought up Lily's actions, Sarah didn't just defend her. She turned hostile. One evening, after Lily had a meltdown and cursed me out in front of company, I told Sarah I was tired of treading lightly. I expected her support. Instead, she stared at me coldly and said, "If you force me to pick between you and my daughter, she'll always come first." That's when I understood my place in the hierarchy. So I stayed silent for years. I swallowed every slight. I let Lily trample over me because I didn't want to lose my wife. I told myself things would improve. She'd mature. We'd find common ground. I even attended therapy alone because Sarah refused, saying therapy was for people too weak to handle their own problems. When Lily turned 18, I started counting down. Once she moved out, maybe Sarah and I could finally relax. Maybe we could reconnect. But Sarah changed too. She began mimicking Lily's attitude, scoffing when I spoke, treating me like I was expendable, like I was just there to cover expenses and stay quiet. One evening, after a grueling day, I sat in my truck. My phone pinged with a message from Lily. I hadn't heard from her in weeks. It read, "LOL, saw your work truck today? Still cutting grass at your age? Pathetic." I stared at it. Not angry, not even shocked, just hollow. Then something in me shifted. I didn't reply. I walked inside, looked at my wife, my partner of a decade, and asked a question I'd never voiced before. "Do you even care about me?" She didn't respond, just blinked, puzzled. I didn't shout or weep. I simply said, "I'm done being a ghost in my own life." That night, I slept in the spare room. The next day, I contacted a lawyer. It wasn't theatrical. There were no heated arguments. Sarah tried to dissuade me, eventually, but it was too late. I had nothing left to offer. I got my own place. I started fresh. Something strange happened. I was content, truly at peace. I had quiet, no walking on eggshells, no sudden jabs or heavy tension. I rediscovered old passions. I reconnected with friends I hadn't seen in ages. I even began dating again, cautiously. 2 years later, last month, Sarah reached out. She apologized, said Lily had grown up and was willing to make amends. She invited me to dinner to talk. I declined. A week later, Lily messaged me too. For the first time, her words weren't cruel. She said she was sorry, that she was just a kid and didn't realize the harm she'd caused. She asked to meet for coffee. Again, I said no. Not out of spite. Not because I resent them, but because peace is too precious to gamble with again. I don't hate them. I don't feel much at all anymore. I think that's what happens when you give years of your life to people who treat your existence like a burden. It's not about vengeance. It's not about punishment. It's just closure. People say you should fight for love, but they don't tell you that sometimes the bravest choice is to walk away when you're the only one fighting. So, yeah, they want me to reconsider. But my answer, it's still no. Thank you for watching Story. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell for more real-life stories.